over this year, I've talked about many stories, but the whole inspiration of this was because I lost the camcorder over spring break down in Florida. But it's also giving me a chance to retell stories of the summer of 16 from AMA and some other little things more behind the scenes. And today we're ending the story of the summer of 16. The theme park trips of the summer of 16. More specifically the Midwest Adventure, but I'll start off with this B-roll from the Mediterranean on Table, which was shot during the sophomore class trip to Six Flags Great Adventure. It's not really much of a vlog. You do see some footage I can see that was put to music. I did the news right out in front of Superman, so maybe it's worth going back to watch that just to see how that went down with the news. And then you have the cutaway back home to a brick builders club boxing, because that's one major bit of the round table that I feel like since I was gone, it kind of made the round table obsolete or unique from that of other news shows like the Grove Show or the Theme Park News Show. But yeah, and this Midwest Adventure not encompassed going to Dollywood, Holiday World, and Cedar Point. It also encompassed spending time with family. Like I have relatives who live in North Carolina, so we spent a few nights with them, and then one day we went down to Dollywood. And I have family in Evansville, which is not that far away from Holiday World, so spend some time with them. My dad and I went for the one day to Holiday World, and same with Cedar Point. I only did one day, which is probably the biggest mistake, and not even getting the full day. So yeah, that's probably the worst mistake, and might be why I have slightly lower opinions, but I don't know how much those would improve with multiple full days at the park. Like I got good taste for it, but I don't know how it would rank higher on that. So yeah, it's time to get into those details of this. So yeah, get ready. Here we go. What's up, my guys? I think I'm back to our ancient tale, and well, I just started talking about the sophomore class trip to Great Adventure. That's something I really forgot about when I was thinking of tying up the loose ends there with the summer of 16, but it kind of fits more here. We're talking about theme parks, but should probably talk about the people of the class of 20 Team Stoga, but that's definitely not going to be next season. Probably not next season. But I'll probably keep the schedule I have as of right now. And now you'll learn more about that on New Year's Day, along with a year in review and stuff about the FBC, and that'll affect all of that stuff, because that's something when it goes into effect, even though I've done some stuff already with that. But anyway, so first full day was just of this whole Midwest Adventure, just driving down to North Carolina, where I have an aunt and uncle in North Carolina. They're actually very close by, like to a Tennessee border, but still a little walk because of the Smoky Mountains to get there. It's still like 3 hours to Dollywood, but with for that amount, it probably would be about the same length as to get to Hershey Park from campus, maybe a bit less. But and then we had one day in their town, which is Waynesville. They have a general store, got some snacks, went to a restaurant. I think it's an Italian restaurant. They had a place where you could just do stuff on it, and you can see on my Instagram page is that I did a very bad sketch of Lightning Rod, because my original go to Dollywood was to ride Lightning Rod, and fortunately I was able to. First thing I went to, I meant wait, but I think because of one train, new ride, and maybe minor break. But yeah, it really was intended, so it's probably the only thing. It's still symbolic, but it's been a while since I've ridden it, so I really don't. Another fun story to talk about with Dollywood is that Blazing Fury, but then the train ahead of us, a light bulb exploded and hit a little girl with glass, and her father was on our train, which stopped on that last turn before the final drop, and apparently there's nothing going on there anymore, so I didn't really miss anything other than maybe a pop of airtime or something. So that is my evac cred. Even though some people might debate if that's a coaster or not, I say it's a coaster. I go by the RCDB rule, okay? actually really enjoy Fire Trader Express. That's a very good ride, and also Wild Eagle was my first wing coaster, because Dollywood doesn't have any of those, unless you count Skyrush, which I did get on the freshman class of Darcy Park. That was a wing seat, and apparently the wing seats are better, so... And I didn't get that Thigh Crush. Okay, that's just probably like just a side bit, but yeah, I don't consider Skyrush a wing coaster. I consider Wild Eagle, Thunderbird, I consider the B&Ms, along with Furious Baco, or as the wing coasters. And I rode on the interior side of Wild Eagle, and then the right side of Thunderbird. But I didn't do Gatekeeper. As of this point, I've yet to ride Tennessee Tornado, those two new kitty coasters that weren't there at the time, Thunderhead, and Mystery Mine. So right now I'd say Fire Trader Express is probably my number 1 at the park, Lightning Rod number 2, Wild Eagle number 3, and then Blazing Fury number 4. And even though it's a good dark ride, I feel some people like Debate's Coaster, some people like the dark ride. I feel like Lightning Rod and Blazing Fury are more symbolic, and while Wild Eagle is considered a weaker wing coaster, doesn't have the wing over drop. And certainly both of the wing coasters I've ridden don't have that wing over drop yet, so I've never experienced that. But yeah, I do feel it was probably another day in North Carolina, or I've just gone straight to our family in Indiana. That's where most of my family is from, on both of my sides of my mom's family. But on one side, I did do Holiday World and got the big 4 knocked out. Didn't do anything in the water park. I saw the dive show, the 4 main coasters. I probably would say that do the 3 Woodies all the way down, even though I could swap Legend and Voyage depending on the day, probably, because I haven't ridden these in a while, and I haven't ridden any of those wind coasters at night. Like first, I did all the coasters all the way down from the top of the park down to the bottom. Gullward Getaway, that's a very cute ride if I do say so. The Rapids, the Drop Tower, and I believe there's Super Roundup as well, if I remember correctly. I was typically see a show where the area where that is now a home to Firecracker. But yeah, my dad actually got a flat on our way to a place that whole family goes to when we get to there called the Log Inn, so that kind of delayed things. But we actually, for a bit of time, we might have actually had to skip Cedar Point because of that breakdown, but lucky enough to be able to find a replacement for a good price nearby, so I actually tried a White Castle for the first time in that area. Don't have much recollection, and just kind of feeling very white inside. Just felt white. That's just how I feel. Like, it's white and there's really nothing special. Yeah, and then so pretty much did take the whole day to get to Cedar Point because of traffic in Cincinnati and Dayton. So yeah, that was a long drive up to Cedar Point. It probably felt a little longer than going down to North Carolina, because going down to North Carolina, even though we got up very early, we had a stop at a Cracker Barrel for breakfast and a few other nice stops along the way, and it was pretty much easy going with a little traffic, just because we took 81, that doesn't really touch DC at all. Yeah, so Cedar Point didn't really have a full day, let alone multiple days. But I did do Valorant first. Again, that was a new thing at the time, so just got that knocked out. Fabric. It rained while I was waiting to ride that, so that's one story. Rode left side of Gemini. I didn't really get to ride a lot up there at Cedar Point, just how things came out. We're not getting there, not really getting there at opening and having to leave at 5 o'clock, so that really just didn't really help. I didn't really feel I can see that as negative. I can say that I did feel like it wasn't the best thing since sliced bread, but it wasn't really garbage either. Just felt like an oversized boardwalk park, in my opinion. Like, but yeah, so we'll do at Cedar Point. So that gives me an excuse to go back. And I briefly thought about doing Main Street just to see one day to compare it to place which is Steel Vengeance, but that didn't happen. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. And then again, yeah, it was a long day back from Cedar Point back home. But at least I can say from that point I've been on every segment of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. But yeah, it's been fun discussing going through the past this season, even though the pilot was really more like introducing this series and kind of like filling in a vlog that didn't quite materialize. And then most of this has been talking about the Star 16 because anyway, I really did that on Lindsay on Music, and so that's rebooting it in a way. And five was like some smaller stuff, and then this, which ties up a last major event of 2016 when we're not counting the school year, and then 6 kind of changed from what I originally had. If you saw the roundtable going from like filling in a continuation of kind of what the Celtic Thunder been in Tale 5 to being more about scouts and scout friends and some fun stories that, hey, these are some fun stories, maybe I should try and build a better outline, and you can drop by some more detail on it. Maybe that, along with talking about the Stoic Class 2018, may lead to the third. Lead ideas for the third season. But I already have a rough idea for season 2, and that is probably going to follow a similar timeline to that of season 1. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So, this has been Lindsay Ale. Comment, like, subscribe. Strike the bell if you're subscribed. And I'll see you next time.